Good afternoon, everyone. I want to get this speech started off by introducing you to the topic I'm going to be discussing today. Private prison companies have been around for a very long time. As a matter of fact, they date all the way back to 1852. There can be many upsides to private prisons, since they are not owned by the state. With this being said, there are overhanging rules such as minimum wages and ethics that go into the way these prisons govern their prisoners. As long as private prisons have been around, people have debated whether or not they should be kept around or done away with entirely. There are many pros to private-owned prisons, such as the creation of jobs, they have lower operating costs, and they save the government time, money, and effort. However, there are some reasons that people would consider these types of prisons a good thing, such as the death of a migrant child back in May of 2018. A mother sued a private prison company for the mistreatment and diagnosis of her child, which eventually led to the child's death. Many people say that because of instances like these, private prisons should not be able to operate. However, in this case, Corvick, the company being sued, was not at fault. It was in fact ICE that was responsible for the medical staff being provided. But because of this event, this is the label people have on private prisons. With this being said, I want to go further into depth of why private prison companies shouldn't be done away with. You may be saying, why would you or I care whether or not private prisons are a good thing or not? My response to this would be that if you care about people having jobs, then you should think about how many jobs these private prisons have the ability to create. Not only do they create numerous jobs anywhere from security staffing to the cooking staff, they offer jobs to people that may only have a high school diploma and nothing else. Now, many people on the opposing side of this argument would say that this is the reason private prison companies have more inmate on staff incidents than state-run prisons. But this could happen to any staff member at any prison at any time. The danger is not only present at the private prison level. I think that both you and I can understand the importance of a company creating jobs. The dangers of the job are known when one takes the job. However, there is training to combat these incidents from taking place. Now I want to talk about some of the facts backing up why private prison companies are a good thing. Now, I think everyone can agree that more jobs are better. Also, I believe that we can come to a conclusion that private prison companies taking overflowing prisoners from state-run prisons is also a good thing. To back this up, a spokesperson from the Trousdale Turner Correction Facility had this to say. It raised its starting wages to the highest in the state. Also, a former employee from the same prison said that Trousdale overall still offers people with just a high school diploma a job with good wages and benefits and the chance to grow in their career. Now, to shine the light on both sides of the argument, people could say that just because these prisons offer jobs, that still does not outweigh the fact that they are more dangerous than state-run prisons. If someone were to say this, they would not be wrong. There are more inmate on staff incidents in private prisons. However, just think about what would happen if they were to do away with private prisons. That's 128,000 private prisons across the U.S. full of prisoners that are now going to overflow into federal and state prisons. Private prisons help with the inmate overflow and help out the state and federal run prisons around the nation. Now, to continue on to the last and final part of my argument. Private prisons can have an immensely positive impact on society, given their drawbacks such as low funding from the government, slightly understaffed, and overcrowding. I believe that the amount of good they do counteracts the few drawbacks and can have a solid impact on the surrounding community. These prisons are able to offer jobs to low educated workers, and they help immensely to take the weight off federal and state prisons. When it comes to private prisons, there are definitely two sides of the argument, and neither side completely outweighs one or the other. However, any logical person can come to an agreement that job creation and the opportunity for less educated workers to be employed and also have the chance to grow from where they started can make private prisons seem like a very beneficial institution that should be kept around and not done away with in its entirety. People may choose to focus on the negatives. Even though private prisons constantly are improving their training of their staff and are doing the best they can despite low funding from the government. If all prisons, including state and federal, had to cut costs the way private prisons do, they would surely not be doing much better themselves. Private prisons overall save our institutional system from complete chaos, while at the same time creating jobs for the less educated workforce and provide career opportunities.